boys and girls, it's Miss Maddesen. You don't see my face in this video because I got a tripod. So now I can use both of my hands to make art with you, which is going to be so much easier for me to record these videos and easier for you to follow along because you'll be seeing what I'm actually doing with both of my hands and I don't have to try to perform a circus act while I hold my phone in one hand and do art with the other. So, sorry you don't get to see my lovely smiling face, but that's alright. So, what we're going to be making today is an ongoing project, so don't think that you're going to be done with this after just this video. This is something that you're going to want to keep coming back to for the next 4 videos after this, and we're going to keep working on this together so that after all 5 videos, you have something that you're really proud of, that you've worked really hard on, and I think you're going to like it a lot. So, just a little disclaimer. Parents, grown-ups, guardians, this may be a little bit difficult for younger children, so you may want to help out with this. For my older kids and my teens, this is going to be something that is going to maybe be a little bit more difficult for you too, but easier than it will be for little kids. So don't fret, it's going to look like a lot, but it's really not too bad, okay? So first things first, you're going to need a bunch of different papers. So I'll just kind of take you through mine here because I've already ripped all of mine down to size to save time. Now, I ripped everything because I like this deckled edge, but you don't have to do that. You can use scissors, okay, and just cut everything to the correct size. You can do it however you want to. This is completely yours. Any paper is the right kind of paper, so don't worry about if you don't have supplies that look like mine, all right? So for my cover, I took this gift bag that I had gotten years ago, and it has this really cool illustration from the original Alice in Wonderland book that I just absolutely love. I love Alice in Wonderland. It's one of my favorite stories. I love the Mad Hatter. He's one of my favorite characters ever. So I thought this was really fitting for me to be my cover for my junk journal. And so I took that, I, cut it down to size, and I folded it in half to be my cover. And then I went about and I picked all the papers that I want on the inside. So, starting, I picked this burgundy paper just because I love this color. It's one of my favorites. And then I picked this paper, which is kind of got like snowflakes and holly berries on it, because I really like the winter time. I'm a skier, and I just got some ski stickers the other day that I'm probably going to put in here later, so I decided to put this page in. This is from another gift bag, and this is cool because it says, "We create ourselves as we go." And I really believe that. I think that our life is an ongoing story and that we keep growing throughout our lives every single day. So I liked this message and I wanted to include it in my book. So I put it in my book. And you can see, like, it's not perfect. You can still see all the, where the handle was on the bag. That's okay. It's a junk journal. It's called a junk journal for a reason. So then I took this page here. This one isn't the same size again, but I like that. I like that not everything is the same. And it's kind of ripped funny. I don't care. I like that too. And then this is actually a little gift bag. I'm using a lot of gift bags in my junk journal, but what's cool is that it's going to be a pocket. So when I fold it in half and I slip it into my book here, I've got a pocket here, and I'll have a pocket in the back where on the other side. So then I've got this piece of scrapbook paper with music notes on it because I love music. This is just a piece of paper that I had sitting underneath something while I was painting, but I thought it looked kind of cool, and I liked how free and, nondescript that it was, so I decided to put it in there. It just was really cool to me. And then I've got just this kind of plain, cream colored paper. I put some lined papers in here. I did 2 of them, so that, I can write poems or stories or journal my thoughts, feelings, and inspirations. Just another kind of cream-colored paper. And then I put a map because I really like to travel and I like going on adventures, so I thought that this was a perfect page to represent that. And then you can see that this is my middle of my book, so everything else is going to just be the same going backwards the other way. So all you're going to do is, once you collect all of your papers that you want, oh, this one's a little bit different because this bag wasn't quite long enough to make a full 2 pages. So I folded it and left enough that it can go around the other pages. But then I took double-sided tape and I taped this little note to it so that it was a little longer. And I just thought this looked so pretty with this burgundy paper. So I decided to put that in there. And then, you know, the ski paper, the burgundy paper. But anyway, so you can kind of see how this is set up. You have your cover, and then you'd put what page you want next, what page after that, and you would keep going and stack all of your pages together in the order that you want them in, okay? And again, they don't have to be the same size, they don't have to be the same color, they can just be regular printer paper, they can be lined paper, construction paper, whatever kind of stuff you have, brown paper bags, gift bags, envelopes, whatever you have, just make sure that it's okay to use first. Always check with your grown-ups before you take anything that you're unsure about. But that's all you'll be needing for today is your paper, your scissors, and then you're also going to be needing some string. I am using just this brown jute twine. I got this in the tool section of the Dollar Tree. So you can find this for $1. And I think it came in a 3-pack. So you can get a lot of this for $1. And it's really good stuff. It's nice and sturdy, so it'll keep your book together. Because the next part that we have to do is we have to bind our book. So again, once you get everything all into place, I'm just checking to make sure that all of my pages are in the position that I want them. Because again, some of them are not the same size, so I want to make sure that they're all lined up in the way that I had them before. Okay, looks good. And then what you're going to do is, this is the part that might get a little tricky. And grown-ups, this is where you can help out the most probably. So you can take a paper clip or a bulldog clip and just hold all of your pages together like that. You can do 1, you can do 2. That way they're not going to move around anywhere. Now the next part of what you're going to do is you're either going to want to take your scissors or an X-Acto blade. I think I'm going to use an X-Acto blade because it might actually be a little bit easier. And you're going to poke holes through all of your papers to create what's called a signature. Now a signature is a cluster of pages in a book. And usually books have a lot of signatures in them because you can't bind all of the pages all together all at once. So it's usually a collection of smaller signatures that make up a bigger book. But really, we're only going to make one signature. So this can be as many or as few pages as you want it. Just pick things that inspire you. And when you come to the time where you've got everything lined up and placed the way you want it, you're just going to take your X-Acto knife or your scissors. Again, grown-ups, this is where you come in. Kids, please do not try this by yourselves. These are very sharp tools and you can get hurt on them. And we're going to do 3 holes, okay? So I'm going to start here, sort of mostly towards the bottom, but not completely. And I'm just going to kind of poke my way through until I get all the way through to the other side. It's kind of hard to see, but there you go. And if you need to, you can go back through the outside to poke into your inside to get a little bit, helps if you flatten it out, to make sure that, that hole you've made is nice and open and ready for your string. I'm kind of spinning it around to make a circle shape. If you have a good hole punch, you can use that too. And that would probably be the easiest. You just need to make sure that it can punch through all of your papers at once so that your holes are lined up all nice and even. I'm just getting out some of the little paper scrapings. Okay? And there we go. I've made one hole. You're going to want to make sure it's open enough for you to get your string through. That's going to be the biggest thing. Because if you're doing it the way that I'm doing it, it's not going to be a nice, perfect, clean-cut hole the way it would be if you were to use a hole punch. Okay, good. Now you're just going to add the other two. So I'm going to pause, and I'm going to get the rest of my holes made. I'm going to make one in the middle, and then one up towards the top, just like I did the bottom. Try to get them as evenly spaced as possible, but they don't need to be perfect. So don't worry too much about that, all right? Okay, I'll be right back. All right. So as you can see, I was starting to struggle the more holes that I had to make. So I ended up using what are called bulldog clips. You might also know them as like the black ones that you have to, fold the silver part open and then pinch. Those work perfectly fine too. Paper clips, bulldog clips, whatever you need, just to hold your pages in line so that nothing gets shifted. Because what we're going to do next is we're going to bind our book. So you're going to want to kind of take your string here, okay, and use the spine of your book to measure it. So start here, leave a little extra just off the edge, like on the tip here. And I'm going to go 1, put a finger down here, then 2, put a finger up here, then 3, and a little extra. And that's where I'm going to cut. So my string is 3 times as long as my book spine. And that's just to make sure that we have enough to tie it. So what we're going to do is we are going to start on the outside of the book, okay? And we are going to poke through this first hole. Now, if you're having a hard time getting it through the hole, you could use a needle and thread this like you would a needle and thread if you were sewing. I'm just going to kind of poke mine through with my X-Acto knife. But be very, very careful. I'm being very mindful of my fingers on the other side of this here. And if you have a hole punch, this is a little easier than this way that I did it, but I don't have a good enough hole punch to get it all the way through all of my papers. There it is. Okay, so I got one end in. And now you just want to pull it through enough that it's not going to slip through, okay? And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side with this end. And just poke it through. That one was a lot easier. I made a much better hole down here. Oh, nope, I lied. If this happens with your twine, that's okay. Just kind of pull it back up, get all the extra little fuzzies out, and then you can just twist it back up nice and tight again and hold it. It won't matter after you get it through the hole, so. There we go. Okay, so now it's through that way. So now pull your strings pretty much even, okay? And then you're going to bring both of them through your middle hole, okay? So start with one, and you're going back down, okay? To go to the outside. There's one, okay? Put that off to the side there. Okay, now we gotta get 2. This one's my fluffy string. This one's harder to get through. Now this one might be a little bit tougher because you're trying to get 2 strings through the same hole. So this might be another time for that needle or an X-Acto knife just to help you push your string through, but it shouldn't be too hard. There we go, got it. Okay, now you're gonna want, you see how loose this is here? You're gonna wanna make sure that that's nice and tight. So to do that, you would pull on your inside strings here, pull that nice and tight. Okay. And then pull up on this string, and that'll also help pull this tight. Now what you're going to want to do here, and it's going to be kind of hard to see because I have brown string on a brown cover, but this string here in the middle, you're going to want to lift that up like this, and you want one string on this side of it and one string on that side of it. So now your strings go like this, okay, with that middle one in between these two little strings, the two ends. So pull it tight again once you do that. Okay. You want it nice and tight, but you don't want it so tight that you rip the string or you rip your holes in your book, okay? It is just paper, so don't be too hard on it. And then let's just tie it so that that knot rests right on top of the other string. I'm going to do like a triple knot here. Boom. Just like that. Okay. And then I can unclip these. All right. And now I have a book. So what you can do with these leftover little strings here is you can put beads on them, you can tie charms to them, you can tie them in a little bow, you can do whatever you want with them. But let's look through it together now that it's all bound together. Isn't that cool? See, and now I don't have to worry about all of my pages shifting all over the place. And this is nice and sealed up in the middle now, so I've got a little pocket. I can stick whatever I want in there. Ooh, it's kind of the perfect size for photo strips. So I could tuck some photo strips in there if I wanted to. Oh, that's perfect! So if you guys have any photo booth strips that you want to put in there, you can do that. Peek them, put them back. Just a neat little thought. Put those back in their frame. Lined paper that I can write on. And here's my middle. You can see where my strings come together in the middle. How cool is that? You guys just made your very own book from scratch. Cover, pages, all. So, now that you've got your book, I want you to hold on to it and wait until the next video. I know you're going to be so tempted to put some stuff in it, which you can, but I'm going to come out with some prompts and show you some different kinds of techniques and things that you can do with these books, and hopefully they are some points to inspire you to keep you going with this. So don't fill it up all the way yet, and we can keep on making these together the next time. All right, guys, show us what your books look like, what pages you chose, what colors you decided to use. Tell us the reason why behind each page. You know the drill. We just want to see what you're making and how you're staying creative. So put pictures in the comments, post them to the Facebook, tag the Boys and Girls Club on them on social media. You know the drill. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.